Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with solid bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.
Immediately we hop on to nothing else than Nuke. North could book a ticket tonight for the minor. And very honestly, Michael, I would expect the 2-0 to come in. I know it might sound a little cocky, right? It might sound a little arrogant, but from an experience point of view, from a knowledge point of view, so many aspects just speak for North. And I think there's no major discussion to be about it.
Yeah, I think this is hard to put past in terms of that this is going to be a more lopsided affair than the game that we just witnessed. It was very tightly fought between the likes of Heroic and Crazy. But North, you're absolutely right. The tenure of some of these players and some of the consistency that they can bring is somewhat frightening.
You have to say, though,
a lot of respect on that team as well, though.
Ancient with young talent along the lines of a Plopsky, till this day, my favorite, and my prodigy to be another Brolin. Not just the next, but another Brolin. It's going to show us what he's made of. North tends to now take it a little slower. Gate up atop. Waiting this one out. So, AZ taking down Plopsky, looking like it's right on track for them, but Rusty, Doppelin, and Draken. I mean, Draken up there, I see a chance, but how much are they going to expect him? That's the question, right? Oh, that one is low. Kyugi slaps him in the face.
Any chance that was hoped in for in this round is immediately taken out as a result of Draken getting taken down. To North keep everybody alive in the pistol round. 3 kills there for AZ. They make it towards that lower site and they get not only the bomb planted, but they deal with every single Ancient player. The Force Spy will come out from that CT side, something that we would look to expect to see from both of these teams. Again, similar to Inferno, Overpass, Train, having utility just so much more favorable in these gun rounds, and so they'll take a chance and hoping that they can maybe topple over North, as well as positioning themselves for a much stronger first buy.
I couldn't have said it better, Michael. Couldn't have said it better. And so Ancient looking to see where they land. With that shot being very uncomfortable, Drake is going to force them in a very unfavorable spot. Yet again, Valdi's control is very nice to see. He's trying to hold them down. North with going over ramp got still the 2 AKs, which should do the major damage in this one. Rusty seems to fall into a little bear trap and is dying in the end. North have now the man advantage. If Disco Doppelin is not going to strike with the 5-7, everything should be fine.
Disco Doppelin getting 1. A lot of damage done to the secondary player in AZ, and suddenly they've got a man advantage to work off of. They've secured some decent positions as well, and with Valde getting taken down, surely this is it. They may just be able to overpower the remaining 2 North players, especially with that smoke going down. Disco Doppelin has a Molotov to work off of as well. Potentially segment these players. They have to sit in the flames. Yuki taking a lot of damage and finding that kill, but they're getting on the kit. Disco Doppelin on the defuse. They cannot track him down. He's got it completely dialed in for Ancient, and North can't do anything to stop it.
Would have not expected it. Would have not expected that.
Strength of some of these from the Force Spies on the CT side of Nuke. There's so many close angles that you can play off of and so many fast rotations you can make. You could see that one player that was positioned in towards that deconnector, or the decontamination rather, in Disco Doppelin was just such a nuisance for them to deal with.
Still Disco Doppelin up on top. has a good advantage, obviously. I mean, the force buy in this one should not give them too much, should it? But Yugi, the wallbang is perfection. Suddenly, man, equalized, we're talking, and as I close my mouth, it's advantage there. Ancient with the number 2 should come in.
Double nade on 3 was perfect for Ancient. Suddenly Yugi's in a 1 versus 3. Bomb dropped at the disposal of Ancient. And Yugi doesn't have a lot of ground to work off. Dragon's even trying to look for the fight, and he gets it done. Yugi's eliminated. In spite of North winning the pistol round, it's 2 in a row for that CT side.
I think we don't really need to talk about the matter of fact that this is an Ancient pick. Ancient with, and this is where my heart starts beating, under the leadership of somebody like Barbar, is tending to really grow. I mean, individuals like Plopsky and Rusty and Freddy B and Draken have all been to the Barbar school, basically. Same goes with Knack, funny-wise, or Rez, we also have seen. So he as a coach probably has a major impact on this team, as though we are looking forward to see them switch up their style from time to time. Freddy B with a tap by the book. Good night, Kirby. And North with this buy, of course, landing nowhere.
Having easy enough time sweeping up some of these kills. Does take a lot of damage in respects to Gabe. Still got support from the distance. Freddy, oh, he's so crisp outside, taking all of these duels. AZ's left alone just with a Glock in hand, and Disco should be able to get this one done as well. Strong round from Ancient, able to make use of the long-ranged engagement angles with those rifles. Not the AUGs that we typically see positioned in that kind of a spot. Typically, you'll see the AWPers for the CT side players kind of in that spot, making use of the additional scope proficiency that the AUGs come into favor as a result of.
Right.
Still a lot of damage done, and able to mitigate any sort of casualties. I love this stance from Ancient. Already going for a faster play towards Secret. They're not going to make that rotation the long way around via the ramp. It means they minimize as well the opportunities for North to be able to get in towards the vents, maybe even flank out those players in those positions.
And I'm quite convinced they don't have Draken on the radar. I imagine North would expect to have seen him once he moves over there. At Disco, he's under pressure, but he performs, and that is a double by the book. Gade and Yugi gotta say goodnight. The third one is granted. The Deagle in his hands, and that was nearly it. North is ambled, and they're set up only down to 1 man. Kirby gotta clutch this one out for the Lions, but I don't know if that one is gonna roar.
Yeah, he's been spotted up and tagged to 20 HP. Although he has the bomb at his disposal and he can make it towards the slower side, he may be able to get a plant down for the north side, sorry. But surely that would be all he's able to accomplish. Draken even pushing further forward, gonna throw a bunch of nades, and it's actually the nade that comes from up high and drops Kirby into the waters below. 4 in a row for the CT start of Ancient. That's about as much as you could ask for if you're an Ancient fan. And we kind of had a small opportunity to touch on it. I mean, we would look at North as potentially the favorites in this matchup, but Ancient aren't any slouches in their own right. You talked about it as well, the fact that all of them graduated from the school of Barbar.
I would say actually Plopsky got summa cum laude on that one. Wouldn't even be surprised. I mean, youngest graduate on that school for sure.
An accelerated program.
Yeah, an accelerated. I mean, he's very well deserved an accelerated program. A little later, I might drop a story about him. In the meantime, ZZ, Steagle, and UMP try to lead North onto the right direction. You love to see those pushes down vent, but Draken is just too aware and too ready. As though he takes a bullet to the head. Easy victim for one of those ZZs. Yet again, man disadvantage on the Danish side.
Very least they've been able to establish themselves in towards Secret. This is known, however, by Ancient, so they'll be met by some utility. The rotation's already there for the CT side. Lopsky and Disco Doppler playing at a distance, though, trying to bait between the two angles, and the crossfire is fantastic. 1 kill respectively. There's the response, but look at the backstab from Freddy. He's going to be able to line them up. And the spray downs from Ancient so far have been pretty on point. We didn't see any kind of plays in that regard in the previous best of 3, but we've already seen some great individual performances from that Ancient lineup.
Indeed, and I mean, Ancient is a team which has individuals I like personally, but yet again is a team which I don't like to watch that often. And the reason I'm going to explain that very theoretically is from a viewer's perspective and not from a player or success perspective. They're playing so slow. They're playing so slow that this often functions due to that, but yet again, it feels like professional teams have a better realization of how to counter that from time to time, and B, and that is a bit of a problem to me, they are also realizing, and then that's, sorry, the right way to put it is that the viewer is also not having those flashy plays, but Plopsky's talent, Draken's flicks, those are the things you want to see. Perfect outside Molotov we just seen right there. It's going to deny outside access, and so AZ takes on Disco, Rusty with 1, but he has dropped, and he has seen 1 dropping down.
So many individual multi-kills for Ancient. The North have been able to track these players down or successfully line up trades. Valde's left all alone. Although he's able to pull 1 back, he's still got 3 more players to find. And the issue is, the bomb is not anywhere near him. Dropped towards the lower bomb site. Ancient will have that to work off of. And so Valde needs to go and retrieve that package. His path is littered with angles in which these CTs could be positioned. Yeah, I don't even know that this is worth going for, and we're seeing now Valde move away from it altogether.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Nuke is not the biggest go-to map of North. I mean, they left it in the pool. Ancient removed Train, North removed Vertigo, that all makes sense. Left Nuke in it, and I mean, from a times played point of view, they have experience. I mean, they picked up wins against Danish teams, funny-wise, most of the time. The only non-Scandinavian victory was against Vitality, 16-14. Then recently had losses against Vitality on this map, 13-16. But yet again, which is very interesting, every single loss got them into double digits, right? And this would tell us that with the competition they play against, we're talking about a Liquid, we're talking about a Fnatic, we're talking about an NIP, that they basically would be standing on top of this. Yet again, Ancient is having a 6-1 lead, surely on the CT side, don't get me wrong. This is where they're obviously prevailing, and this is where they obviously show us their strength with actually nearly a 70-30 balance on Ancient CTT. So they need to grab as many as possible. I would say with especially that balance against North, you need minimum 12 rounds to have a proper buffer.
Yeah, you consider the opposition that North frequently face off against. You're absolutely right that Ancient shouldn't prove too much of a task, but showing that there are certainly no slouches in this affair, showing why they picked this map as well. They're going to be pressured heavily towards this A site. The first kill is there for the North side, but it's traded right back. So far an equal exchange, but Freddy B answers with a kill outside. The bomb is dropped in the meanwhile. And God, look at this pouncing. Ancient are making so many fast rotations that North are getting caught out.
Yeah, they have a good read on this, and the variation in their defensive style is really very obvious. I mean, Rusty, for example, we saw right there, he always tends to use the high ground, but he never repeats, or he never seems to repeat, let's put it that way, to where he stands, which is, in the end, a little detail. But of course, a game changer. North back though on those pistols. We haven't seen any high impact plays yet. And as AZ takes a bit of damage, I want to use this time to greet a friend called AZesque. In the meantime, after I've done that, in the trophy room, Gate is standing. And for me personally, Michael, this is a little absurd that we see a team like North, number 9 in the world, by the way, not even qualified for the minor yet. And this is still an obstacle. And if they lose this, there's another obstacle in their way.
They'll have 2 swings at it, but So far, based on the performances thus far being seen, Ancient being very dominant on Nuke. Obviously, like you said, on the CT side, certainly the more favorite of the two. Things do not bode well, especially considering their high rankings.
Yeah.
North, though, given that they've gotten themselves on towards the bomb
Plopsky.
site, things will be at least in a decent enough position, but Plopsky does so much work. Sitting on the bomb site, springs into action at the right opportunity. Valdez is eventually going to be able to deal with that troublesome player, as now the rotation from Ancient is somewhat delayed.
Yeah, it is very delayed. And Valdi has an idea. Good night, this Godoplan. Freddy got a strike on it. We're seeing Arc and an AWP in their hands. Both are not looking good HP-wise. Valdi is still not there for any further mistakes. He strikes and gives North the number 2. In the buy, that was not even sufficient.
That is now the second time that North have been able to capitalize off a triple kill that Valde has brought forward. Both rounds that North have achieved, Valde putting up that stat respectively, with the pistol and that round. And those particular half-buy situations are, we touched on it in the previous best of 3, very impactful to bringing your half forward or making your half more competitive. You can see suddenly the momentum almost shifts. North of a bit of money accrued as a result of taking some weapons away from the Ancient camp as a result of that previous round win. And now they even find the opening pick on Freddy B. Things looking to turn back around here for North. They'll need some standout performances, I think, from the likes of AZ and Valde. Valde already stepping up to the occasion.
Yeah, of course. And Draken strikes. Can he really dodge Yugi? Oh, not really. Saw him probably for a millisecond or two. Ancient down to only 3 players. Yet again, we're still talking about a minute. Ancient are not really allowed to do any further mistakes. To the right-hand side, talking about that, Valdi most definitely identified the player, and Kirby has now all the information about the site. He swings wide from heaven. Good night, Disco. Unfortunate for him as he felt himself quite safely there. Rusty is there to find 2. Plopsky though chimes in from behind, and now the young gun, Nicolas Gonzalez, to do the clutch. Nah, not gonna happen.
They almost line up for Plopsky there as well in the clutch. That could have been dangerous for North, but they get it done. And now the money has run out for Ancient. They're going to be able to still muster a buy together, but this is the last comfortable buy for at least another round. If North are able to win this one, it would suddenly be an eco in which they could begin to claw back that lead that Ancient have been able to accrue in the early stages of this half. Anticipate as well, Freddy B will think twice about spamming that door position. Yeah, he's not even going to go for it in this round. He'd done it a number of times before, and North were able to read into that, pick him off in the previous round.
As you expecting an over-rotation over ramp to come in. No mistake from Plopsky. As North, with that smoke wall in front of them, they are most definitely intimidated what's up next. Utility is limited. Gate forgot his secondary, by the way, just pointed it out once he runs out of bullets. And this is all the silence before the storm, isn't it?
This is the second time they've thrown this Molotov, and Disco Dolphin might get a kill as a result of it. He sits on the edge of the flames on both instances, and he's been able to find impact. North will need to plug that up. They think they have to recognize as well that Disco has to have stayed up on that position as opposed to jumping up late into the round.
Plopsky definitely wants to find a few more missing crucial shots over on ramp. Rusty though chimes in, Freddy up there as well, and this puts them in a 2v4 with hardly any situations and scenarios going in favor of North anymore. You see the time ticking low, pressure is high with 20 seconds left. And they announce themselves quite loudly, don't they? This is making it a bit problematic. Rusty gotta dodge any player that comes nearby. Valdi is known, and so he can't play around. It's back to a tied-up situation.
And neither of these players on the side of Ancient are going to keep track of where these players are located. They can get into post-plant positions, and Disco has to traverse up the fence. This is such a dangerous angle to move up from because, yeah, the gun barrel's going to be spotted out. Plopsky now left all alone. No kit available on him. Needs to retrieve one en route, and he's going to be able to take down Valde. There is a kit just located outside of the vents, and if Gade finds the right opportunity, he may just strike. Plopsky seems to think he's up close, but instead Gade is sat on the site, and he delivers a fourth for North.
And Ancient, they don't want to give the steering wheel away right now, don't they? It would be a very unsatisfying performance. Like I said, they need a good bunch of rounds, as CT-sided this team is. I mean, recent victories off them right on this map were against individuals, and I mean, for me, this is not comparable. Copenhagen Flames, XCOM, SJ. Funny why it's a 6-0 against Gamer Legion. That is odd. Yet again, directly pushing out the site. Ancient hardly standing a chance. Gotta accept defeat in this one. And so it is. 7-5 coming in for North.
Yep, all about how much damage they can accomplish here on that CT side. See if they can pull a weapon away. Valde's going to gift an AK over towards Freddy B. He's going to be happy that that delivery has come in his direction. They find a follow-up frag. Seems to have an inkling that the rotation will come in through that ladder position. Yep. Headshot onto Kirby.
Freddy surely doesn't like that because he could be hunted down, but you see the money on North, and
yeah,
that's not a real invitation for a hunting season, is it?
Yeah, usually if you want to get a license to hunt ducks in the field, it does come at a hefty cost. In Counter-Strike, it's usually about 4 or 5k respectively, and they weren't there just yet. Of course, don't hunt without a license.
You're warning everybody outside, out of the game, to not go hunting without a license. I find that very responsible of you.
Like gambling, just bet responsibly.
Yeah, right. And if you want to bet responsibly, do it on GG Bet.
There you go.
Should have done my master's in marketing, probably. Either way, Draken wants to find the entries, fully blinded, but Freddy can capitalize on a Kirby who felt safe. And Ancient would be now on the track to find the half already. But North, I'm sure they have a saying in this.
Yugi almost lined up the spam there. Cycle the AWP over into Gade's hands as he sits at low HP. Responsible decision as the AWP just needs to hit that one crucial shot. They're actually doubling up on top of Hut. Going to be reboosting up Rusty so he can sit on the high ground. Again, these Molotovs will ring through, and I don't think Disco Doplin's going to be two-phased. That Molotov hasn't hit him in this position really ever, and he won't feel too contested. North will get this full sense of security that this position will be clear, and Disco can sit comfortably. If the hit comes towards A, North are not going to be suspecting this close angle.
And as it comes, Yugi, he's going to be just taking down a few. We're talking about 46 and 10 points of health. And there has to be a decision made. And that needs to be one hell of a good decision. Gage just waits out for a Drake and coming in with a flank. The Deagle is his only opportunity. And this was the shot needed. Valde is the only one to turn things around. He plays it a bit more aggressive. And his stance is not going to be rewarded at all.
After 4 consecutive here for North, Ancient finally break the cycle. Keep 2 alive and pull things back in the retake, but these rounds have been a lot more convincing from the North side. You see a very strong performance thus far from Valde. Behind him is Yugi, otherwise the frag's very evenly distributed on the North side. As for Ancient, it's been a little bit more of a well-distributed on the frag count for the CT. It's obviously a lot easier to capitalize on mistakes and call-outs, able to trade out successfully. And really, the thing that's proved triumphant for Ancient is their rotations have been pretty much on point. North have been able to deal with it in these past few rounds, anticipating the faster play from that CT side, but should those rotations still come through and maybe even just add a second or two buffer and maybe just delay them a little bit longer, North may still get caught out by them because they're putting themselves in positions where they can quickly rotate and support both the A and B bomb site.
Exactly.
This looks like a set piece being brought out here from North, a very unorthodox smoke being lined up.
It's all on the outside, isn't it? It's an outside smoke, if I saw correctly. And the Molotov thrown on the outside of Heaven as well. Draken is not really affected by it until he goes and counters it as good as possible. Gate is eliminated. And immediately we're talking about a man disadvantage again. Slowly and steady, Plopsky and Co might have the upper hand overall. Just reminding you, this is round number 14. Afterwards, North is not going to have too much left in their wallet in case this all goes south. And it looks like it all goes south.
Finally, a response kill there for North. They take down Draken, who had subjected himself to the flames earlier just to get an early pick. Still, it's double the manpower here for Ancient. And Plopsky's pushed up. Radio's been compromised, and Valde might not check this.
But does it make a change is the question. Look at the time pressure. I mean, Yugi is under no circumstance able to do anything. I mean, he unfortunately didn't even get the frag. 9-5, double digits on the way for Plopsky and his crew. Sufficient, I would call it, in case they go that far. Once more considering that they only win 30% of their T rounds of all rounds in total won by Ancient so far. That's definitely not promising when sides are being switched. About this being the most CT-sided map in the entire competitive map pool.
And one that definitely used to favor itself towards being a niche pick for a lot of teams, but now that the likes of Cobble and Cash have been removed, it's become a lot more commonly played. We're seeing the strategies even being innovated a little bit in the likes of Furia. Still a lot of unexplored territory. By and large, it has been fairly standard here from Ancient as well as North. Outside smokes, some presence towards door just to try and creep on through, but it leaves Ancient in these positions where they're just capitalizing fine multi-frags. Freddy gets 2, Draken gets aggressive on ramp. Although he could potentially lose the AWP, he's not shy of taking that duel. Now just AZ and Yugi. Great kill on towards Freddy B. That gives him access towards Hell, but Draken has still gone unchecked. Yugi will not be suspecting he's up close, and there's the finishing kill. Ancient secure the half 10-5. We talked about the advantage that we thought Ancient would have needed, and that's not quite it. We looked at ideally a 12-3 half for them, as North are looking to have a very successful CT side in their own right.
And I think personally at this point in time, if in case Ancient are going to start off with an initial success, a story could be told. It could be, surely. I mean, now, pause, North? You are only 4 players?
They're missing a player, but they...
Do they think it's warm-up?
I imagine this will get match-medicked.
100% it will get match-medicked. Well, in the meantime, we could abuse this to quickly talk about what happened to all the other teams, what happened so far in this tournament. Well, overall, Michael, 8 teams qualify for this, and, well, 2 have made it through. That's Crazy and Fnatic. I guess both are no real surprise here. Magnitude, Gamer Legion, Windigo, and Northerwind are kicked out. Windigo, the biggest surprise for me here. And before I hand it over, I remember there was a tweet from Donna, shout out to her, about who's gonna make it to the minor, and she was writing Optic in there, and I said Optic's not gonna make it. It's gonna be Ancient, right? So, and I remember the manager of Gamer Legion replied to a tweet that says, "Your hate towards us so far brought us luck." Well, Gamer Legion is out 13th to 16th, so
that is rough.
This is the moment where you would expect the to be continued meme, to come in.
Or you've seen the Seinfeld memes.
With the outro, would fit quite well. So I don't even have any problem with them. I just don't think they're that good. It sounds very harsh, but I think you have to say it that way.
Sorry, not Seinfeld. It's Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's the one.
Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Isn't that from Seinfeld? The outro.
The outro is for Curb Your Enthusiasm, but he's I think the writer or producer, or maybe director.
I don't even know. I honestly
behind Seinfeld. So he is tied to Seinfeld. There is a reason that was looped in there. But
okay, yeah. So that's what I wanted to say. At this point in time, we have seen those teams advance and those get kicked out. Right now, still fighting is Funny and Wise, Mouse and Optic, and Ancient and North. So whoever's winning this one, and that is maybe for some a surprise, as we're only in the second day of this qualifier, is going to get to the minor.
Yeah, some really tough competition as well.
100%.
I mean, we've seen some close games, and I imagine this one will deliver in that same regard. I was a little bit skeptical about Ancient, but they've had some pretty inconsistent results. I'd like to think they've not exactly been the most strategic-based team in those competing in the minors. So I think when they go up against the likes of North, it's going to be fairly hit or miss in some of these rounds. I imagine we'll see some very convincing CT side rounds from North, and then rounds in which it won't even be a close contest, just based on individuals stepping up to the plate on Ancient's camp. We're still waiting for all 5 players to be in the server here for North.
Kirby reconnecting as far as I read it. Well, and yet again, which is probably funny and a little bit insightful for all the lads watching right now. Well, so far, the best player with 4 maps played, well, Fnatic, Funny and Wise, played 2 best of 2s and made it out with 2-0 each, is Brolin. And then the 4th best player overall is the man Plopsky. So, I always say, keep your eyes peeled for that man. He's going to join Fnatic or NIP this or next year. I promise you right now. You can always quote me on that. He's gonna do. He will join that.
Well, you can expect a tweet 2 years from now if that doesn't happen.
I accept that. I do accept that, but I'm extremely convinced. I met his parents. That's where I can. This is the perfect time where I can set the story. I met his parents at the guy's 17 years old at Copenhagen Games 2019. I have never met 2 more kinder parents. I mean, his father, really big guy. He's from Spain. He's from Spain. I mean, his last name is Gonzalez. So who would have thought, right? He doesn't speak Spanish though. Funny or Wise, Plopsky doesn't speak Spanish, and he and his father and his mother are extremely kind, always supporting. And the funny part is, Plopsky always sends his father via Twitter. All the fancy clips he does, all the aces in FPL and things like that. It's just, if that is a good bonding, I don't know.
No, that's a crazy amount of support given some of the horror stories we see. Well, not horror stories, but not exactly the best anecdotes from other less supportive parents.
True.
So good to see that there's at least a few of them circulating.
I thought it was very adequate, and as it is all restarted, we go back live in the matchup. Ancient with 10 rounds. And they have a good possibility to now switch it all over to get a proper win over on this one. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah, this pistol holds a lot of importance for both these teams. North don't have as much of a buffer as they would have liked to of coming away from that T side. If Ancient pick up this pistol, suddenly they're in a fantastic position. They'll likely get up to 12, maybe even 13 before North are able to respond. And At that point, there can be no mistakes in North's gun rounds.
Talking about that, Ancient already have the first attack on the Drake, and the man is pretty much down. Kirby deals damage, and he deals big-time damage. So you see Plopsky tries to tap away Kirby, who put them under pressure. Draken cannot cross, and AZ is looking to find those shots. Well, Wake works for them. North with a good man advantage and also massive damage dealt.
Yeah, they're beginning to think Ancient may double back towards that A site. Disco Dopplan's lurked his way in towards ramp. Yugi's still spotting for it, but he's tagged to low HP. One more bullet should do it, but Yugi hits the shot. Crucial kill there for North to be able to secure that one. That would have allowed the backstab on towards the A site. It has to be Draken to find the entry. Successfully does so, but these Ancient players are weakened up. Plopsky leading the charge should get this bomb relatively planted, but Yugi from the back lines is able to contribute, and Draken is dropped as well. 4 kills for Yugi to secure North their pistol.
Very obviously not satisfying. Very obviously, happiness looks different. I mean, surely this is going to be the eco for Ancient, just going to accept the defeat in this one. Next up, it all matters. And, you know, shockingly, we have played 15 rounds, Michael, right? And AZ, Gate, and Curry both on respectively, well, 6, 5, and 4 kills really need to up their game during the second half. This is not to be expected. Already making a lot of noise on outside. Not quite sure why he was shooting the windows when there is nobody to throw smoke and nobody to drop underneath. Doesn't matter though, Glocks won't change up too much anyway.
I think Ancient in this round, they're not actually contesting too heavily to try and win out these respective duels. They're just trying to get a handle of how North are going to be set up on the CT side. They've already identified Kirby's playing at a distance, AZ as well in towards that main position.
Right.
They have a bit of an idea of how North are going to be approaching outside control. This is just more about information gathered. They would have obviously have liked to take a player or two down, but I don't believe that was the end goal. Now that the rifles are into play, to see them try and mitigate the impact that those 3 players can have.
AK is now brought into the game. Utility belongs to Ancient as well, and this is a team where I would expect an amazing set piece. But North, of course, now on the CT side, they could start to wake up, and they probably will wake up. The firepower on every individual of North, you just gotta rate it higher. And once they're here in the defensive stance, I imagine they could really display that. But in the first situation where Ancient got the weapons, they need to prove us in the world what they are made of.
We're again seeing this position just above Secret being taken up, this time by Kirby. If Ancient do commit through, try and line up that double smoke such that they can get towards that position, suddenly things could get a little bit awkward. I think a failed smoke on the side of Ancient.
Were they both intended to go that way? They're both very confusingly thrown. I mean, Plopsky also with the molly working there in the end, and so they push through. The problem though occurs, a man is just behind them. And that is Gate. He must know. AZ's actually shooting his teammate. And they have made it through ramp on site. One plant is possible. Rusty not to be taken out yet. And this is the pressure on North. This is a problem now occurring for them, as Freddy B could be the victim of Gate anytime soon. Plopsky's gonna be the first and gets another one as well. This is a weakened defense with Disco and Rusty, as though they're desperately looking for the frags. It's all now only on one man.
Isolated duel though. Disco Dopplan holds such a strong position. 1 kill goes his way. Might be able to recover a Molotov as well. Has it in play. Can throw it on the bomb. And Valde can't do anything to stop it. He'll get the kill on towards Disco. But maybe just enough time being blown out. He's trying to wait out the flame.
Oh no, it's not going to be enough. Nope, not going to work. Valde needs to run. And this bomb's going up. He survives? What?
Yeah.
He was like 10 meters away from it, wasn't he?
See, I've had certain people say that the bomb damage reduction in a patch a few a couple of patches ago whereby Vertigo was added to the pool. That doesn't affect other maps, but I'm pretty convinced it does, because that looked like it should have been lethal range. Especially on 37 HP. I'm pretty sure the damage on the bomb was reduced a couple of patches ago, and that affects every map in the pool. The issue on Vertigo used to be that there was very few places that were safe once the bomb got planted and actually exploded.
Well, okay then. The thing though is, right, at this point, Michael, North investing into this averagely. If they lose it though, it will be not only 12-7, they're basically on eco. And a Nuke defense on eco or a low buy in 9 out of 10 cases hardly works, so you could call it a key round basically. And this key round starts off with Draken trying to shoot down the person who crosses on outside. It would be Kiarbi, by the way. But as he advanced, look at the rain of nades coming down. But there's a man who says, like, no further trespassing. Freddy needs to have him on the radar to his left-hand side. He expects the Dane, and he's going to eliminate him immediately.
Very sharp to take that angle. Even before the flames had fully elapsed, Ancient. Very aware of that position. Look at the response here from Gade. Taking all of lobby control. North can begin to move away from this A site should that be the play. The issue is that main becomes a concern. Yugi can't successfully move away from that position without opening up an opportunity for Ancient to move in towards the upper bomb site.
Draken makes a lot of noise, and he might be selling this to Yugi. I'm not so sure about it. As though Valdi plays a key role, he will see a bit of the heads of the Ancient players. As he's still flashed off, needs to be easy taking that one in his hands, and he's going to find one, but immediately gets traded. The damage stealth, though, is quite disgustingly high, and Ancient is in a bit of a hairy situation, most definitely. Plopsky down, 3 more to go. Now you got to consider. The Opto. Immediately trading that one. Draken sticks to the AK. And as Yugi tried so desperately, they're gonna know where they're coming from, don't they?
He had the inkling. Gade's taken down the flank. Valde now left alone, and he's not gonna be favoring his chances in this one. Not even really progressing forward for it. Identifies as well how crucial this economy game is for North, and you touched upon it earlier, the fact that there's going to be minimal amounts of utility that North can deploy and buy up into this following round. It should be an easier affair for Ancient. As the players escape with their lives, the AWP and the AK in hand, Valde will maintain the AUG. They cannot buy up around this, and they're not likely to invest anything into this one. Hoping that Valde can do a little bit of heavy lifting, that these pistols may buy him some additional space, but look to this being a 13th for Ancient.
Well, Michael, this is not going to be the round, is it? And so 13-7 granted, money accumulated on the side of Ancient. This is how it should be, to say it like that, to point that one out. And then it's no further way, really. It's not too much of a distance to run, but if Valdi's going to find 1 or 2 kills, that's not only putting them in a better spot, this could give his teammate a free weapon or 2, but here on outside, I really doubt that it's going to work that easily if you're going to have a new situation coming up with a bit of a surprise for Ancient. I doubt it. But yet again, patient playstyle, no room for flaws.
I love this position here from Valde. He's trying to gamble between these 2 angles. AZ's holding a flash as well into support should he take first contact, but you're going to be able to bypass this rifle. Slowly edging forward towards the A site. There is still Gade in their path, but the 5-7, how much can he get done first? 2 kills are crisp from Gade. The 3rd might soon be lined up. Draken and Freddy eventually deal with him. The nade as well will finish off Yugi. Certainly an opportunity. You cannot count these pistols out. And oh my goodness, Draken has to flick around to take down Kirby.
I mean, those 5-7 shots were brutally landing in the heads of two. Draken decided to actually disassemble the scope of his AWP and use it as a shotgun. That was a crazy one. For a second, it looked dangerous. But Ancient's still in the driver's seat, and it feels like they're oversteering their E46 M3 a little bit, while North is without any seatbelt on the back seat. Could get uncomfortable. And so North... Take a look at their utility, by the way. This is only smokes. We don't see a single kit coming out of them. That could become very uncomfortable in case Ancient actually get control of any bomb site.
Yeah, only smokes to utilize if you're North. I'll have to deploy those rather timely as well. One flash on gate could be pivotal as well, but for now Ancient will be uncontested towards outside. Smokes deployed such that they can feign aggression towards that secret position, but Kjaerbye's already pushed past it. He has a little bit of information for them to work off of. Could hear as well if the footsteps came through for Ancient. For now, neither team making a move. Ancient posturing up outside of A. This is going to be a burst out on towards the upper site.
And a classic molly. It's not going to do much. Kjaerbye, though, gets them once they're exiting, and this is a meat grinder by the Danes. That's not going to work today. Draken with the AWP, got to perform a miracle, which I doubt that it's going to work. Then the AWP does the job in the end. 8th round for North. Quickly taking a look at that scoreboard. They found the initial 2, then immediately bouncing back. Perfect moment, by the way, to check out the ADR. With Freddy on 103, Disco on 96. Well, Michael, it seems like we either see... I mean, this one, of course, is not going to have too much of an impact, but we either see a real comeback coming in from North, which would be a bit of a surprise to me, because Ancient is, especially under the leadership from the man Bobber, for me, a team that can always bounce back, that has this mental state of a solid thinking that everything's possible. They're not getting tilted, they're not getting mad. I cannot imagine that, at least.
Kjaerbye is certainly firing himself up as well on the side of North, though. He's making an argument that maybe they can come back into this game, bridge the gap that Ancient have accomplished. The bomb being planted here for Ancient is about as much as they'd hoped to achieve. An additional rifle, if Plofsky is able to get one, would certainly be nice. They're just teasing him with all of these sound cues. Plofsky's hearing noises left and right. Now he can finally take an AK and get his way away, but Gate is lying in wait.
Unluco, as you might say. And there's the timeout from Ancient. Talking this one through seems to be very reasonable. We saw them with very patient plays for most of the time. I mean, outside seemed to be very functional. Remember, for example, how they took outside with the 3 smokes, I think it was. I could be horribly wrong. And they had already the awareness of an AZ waiting to his left-hand side, or could have been Kjaerbye when they went down.
Yeah, it was Kjaerbye.
It was Kjaerbye, right. And then they had this full control scenario where they still waited out, where they didn't immediately push through, where they were a bit more patient to make 100% sure that they might just alert their opponent in the thinking that it's not actually going to be the B side or something like that. So we're going to figure it out. In most cases, Ancient is, for me, one of the most strategic teams in the Tier 2 scene I know. Tier 2, Tier 3, whatever you want to call it. So, I'm expecting a lot from them here.
North are certainly making an argument in response, however. Just shy of double digits. They've got a very strong buy coming into this one. Everybody affording up every bell and whistle in terms of utility. Yugi has the AWP in play as well. He'll lock down this outside position, or you'll look for him to do so. Actually positioned over towards the B side of things.
Right.
taking an angle in towards Secret. So looking to maybe spring into action in the same way that Draken had in the first half. But Gerby is really finding a high level of impact frags.
Oh, no.
So far, double kill as well secured for him. Gate as well will chime on through. And Valde is pushing Radio. Meanwhile, Plopsky caught off guard. Draken left alone, and Valde delivers the finishing kill.
That's a bit unfortunate because you saw also the player in main, which Kirby was down to 4 HP. Rusty couldn't perform there. And that's what you possibly don't want to have for yourself. North once more proven that the CT side is where they remain stronger. It's still a way of 6 rounds for a victory. That's a long path, and this round, very obviously, it won't prove us too much. It won't give us too much. As right now, I imagine there's perhaps nothing happening. 1 or 2 kills from Ancient, that would be nice. Realistically speaking, that should be everything, though.
I'm actually scared for North, given this setup. They've got Kirby trying to take these fights in towards Credit Card, and AZ as well, although he has the angle covered. Actually, no, Yugi making the rotation makes things a lot more secure. I think if it was just those 2 players outside, things would be a lot more difficult, but they shut it down. Like you said, it shouldn't have been too much of a close contest. I was seeing a world in which Ancient were able to topple those first few players, but so many different variations to how a round might play out. North have, by and large, been able to accomplish what they set out to do coming to the second half. They've minimized the amount of damage that Ancient have been able to accomplish. Only 3 rounds thus far on the T side. North winning 6 so far. Only 2 more to tie up the affair. I think you had asked for a number of the players on the side of North to kind of step into the action. We're seeing that for sure. Kirby was one of the more silent of the North offensive players, now pulling up on the defensive end.
And 1 minute 10 left on that clock. It leaves Ancient without any major control. Oh no!
Oh.
The molly failed. They thought it was secure down the stairs, but second one now thrown comes in a little too late, isn't it? And Draken has to live with the casualty of his teammate, pushing through nevertheless. That couldn't be more unfortunate, really. Gotta play it with 4. Gotta figure it out with 4. And Yugi just waits for a player to come into his crosshair. At this point in time, nobody's gonna join him. Kirby with the right peek, drops the bomb, and North got all the information needed.
Kirby's caught here, however, so they can surround him. Freddy B's going to be able to line up the backstab, can maybe secure a bit more control towards the A site as they look to recover the bomb. This will be a 3-pronged assault. All the Ancient players spread out. No trade ability between these 3 players, but Freddy B may go unchecked. Gade is still on the site, but Freddy gets the crucial kill. Gade is still lingering in that position, and Draken, he can't track him down fast enough. This round's going to be won on time alone, and Gade even finishes him off before the timer elapses. 1 more round before North tie things up, and Ancient going to be on a scrappy bye, if anything, in this round.
They have 1 more timeout to talk things through. Single one, 30 seconds to discuss. And, well, they go for the very scrappy buy. Indeed, as you said, ZZ's, Tech, and Deagle. You know, Ancient is playing one of the most structured CS, I would say, I see from time to time. And sometimes it feels like breaking out a structured playstyle, but just playing brutally with a crowbar, trying to open a bank vault. It's fun to watch, and yep, that nade. It's disgusting.
Solid 130 damage added to the utility. Be more than happy to add that under the stat line. That's going to be the push on towards A. Gade's going to be able to deal with the first 2. AZ able to sweep up the pieces. Bomb dropped at their disposal. And all these players softened up from earlier exchanges. It's easy enough for AZ. And North have bridged the gap. They've tied up this game. And now they hold But they've taken the steering wheel off of Ancient, plugged it into their own Citroen.
Yeah.
Or Fiat 500. Doing that, you can, I believe, redeem that via service. And Ancient, I don't really know what the response is going to be.
Right.
North have been very dominant in making sure that outside isn't that big of a concern. Kirby's been instrumental in these rounds, but the overpush from Yugi could just give Ancient an opportunity.
It could give them a good opportunity, actually. As Valdi once more plays it around the stairs. Hopefully Ancient learned from their mistake of the previous Molotov. Now the nade goes deep. Once more deals the damage. Utility is in the last 2 rounds, the last 3-4 rounds, extremely interesting to see from the North side. As a CT, of course, you always use that. Here comes a big mistake. And North only down to 3 more players. Do Ancient capitalize yet again on the round after they have been missing so massively? Hazy with what a flashbang. He takes on Plopsky. Kirby, in the meantime, now turns this one into a man equalized scenario.
And Disco didn't make use of the space that was created as a result of all that pressure towards the lower site. Kirby may just find the timing on this player as well. He's aggressing in towards that radio position, and soon enough may be able to line up the backstab. North are spreading themselves out and looking for opportunities to open up this round. Rusty is caught with his pants down, not looking at the correct angle. Kirby will strike from the back lines, and they bring this round back. Ancient found the pick, but North bring it and get a 14th.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? A quick look at the scoreboard will tell us what North has performed. 7 rounds in a row. It was 10-5 for Freddie B and Draken. Turned it overall to a 13-7. And yet again, this is disgusting, isn't it? This is so unfortunate.
And a lot of that has to do with that seemingly a protocol coming out from North as well. They've lost all of their presence outside. They lose that player that's kind of holding down and locking down Secret as a means of entering that B-bomb site. You see the immediate rotation through the vents, and the smoke and flashbang combo were perfect to bring North into a favorable position. Some good sort of mid-round and sporadic decision-making from the individuals on North is what helps them get to 14. And this is maybe a 15th being accrued as well. Upgraded pistols, the MAC-10 being brought out by Rusty. As we see anything spectacular from the side of Ancient, I doubt this is going to be a round that they're able to achieve. And Valde won't even give Draken a clear opportunity. Takes him down through the smoke.
Yeah, and those rounds are the ones where I have my doubt. It's now Gate and Co. Obviously having the upper hand. Stabs hurt. Nate to bounce massively in front of the feet of Freddie B. And that AUG is exactly what you need. Triple secured. Disco might try. The next one is where the real buy is coming in with maximum losing bonus $3,400. I'm still disappointed, Michael. And I'm not even disappointed because Ancient is doing so well. The thing I want to say, and this is always for me important, getting 13 rounds against North as they are the number 9 in the world on your own map pick, which is Nuke, with a team that has a lot of experience on this, is more than decent if you ask me. This is not an easy opponent. Tell me what you want. And North, totally different facility, totally different structure, etc., etc. Whilst Ancient still tries to find their place and tries to advance. And this is still possible for them.
Yeah, certainly a commendable effort on this map. You hit on all the right points there. I mean, this is not a map that North are unfamiliar with. They led it through the Vita. They've been successful against higher opposition as well. So heading to 13, certainly commendable. They may just fall short. They'd been in such a strong position at the start of this half, and ever since they've swapped sides, have had a few glimpses, have had some really strong performances where they've needed it to bring it this close, but North just able to reset and allowed these players that were somewhat quiet in the first half to really pull things through. We'll have to see if they stave things off, pull it to an overtime though.
So,
Ooh.
I'm not sure if it's fail. I think that's not failed. No. That's seemed somewhat intended, but I could have been horribly wrong on the other side of things. Nevertheless, 1 minute left for Ancient. Extremely passive how they stand. Quick look at the map. Shows us that they seem to be readying themselves up for an outside set piece, don't they? First smoke thrown, next one coming in. Kirby and Co need to see where they land. And look again, the Molotov failing. Just pointed that one out. Yugi has all the space.
He's gotten the information as well from the north side, spotting out Freddy B, but there's only the one player identified, so North are still on the bomb site. Pushing forward, they establish and get themselves down towards vents. Yugi would have been the fast rotating player, but Freddy B delivers on a double kill. The lurking presence is there and successful for Ancient. North need to deal with these players before they can progress on towards the B bomb site, but they just cannot track them down. Valde and Gade left clutching at straws and any semblance of map control, just looking to now save these weapons. It wouldn't have too much impact in the game. They'd still be able to buy it for the rest of the half. Gade will try and hold on to his AK, try and do some damage to the Ancient side. Doesn't seem all too successful. Everybody stays alive for Ancient as they stay alive for another round.
I mean, the only positive I see here for North is that they have accumulated so much money over the course of the last few rounds. By the way, this is the only time that now Ancient broke the streak of North. A little too late, you could say. And that set piece worked. Yugi seemed a little too hesitant in the end. Now Ancient very dedicated to go outside, very dedicated to move through there. Maisie just casually drops down. Nobody heard him. He's waiting that one out, and he can support in case they're going for secret.
That does seem like what's on the cards here for Ancient as well. Kirby will have that information that they're rotating
Yugi.
in as a result of this forward position. And Yugi lines up the first. The bomb was spotted as well. They can get that over, even through the edge of the wall. They finally track him down, but the double kill from Yugi is fantastic, and AZ delivers on a kill as well.
And Valdi just standing there up high, has everything he needs. One player on 8 points of health. He heard Rusty. He 100% heard Rusty. And is he public to him? The door's open. Valdi must know. And if Rusty peeks around, I'm not quite sure if he can be seen or not. In the meantime, Disco Doppelin still waits on the stairs for a mistake from the north side. As Valdi rather dodges that open little squeaky door.
Worried about the time here for Ancient. They're grinding so much of it, waiting for a response from North.
There it goes.
Valde will finally chime through. And Disco Doppelin, can he get it done? He's getting spammed through the edge of the floor. Valde does so much damage, but can't convert the kill. Disco, he cannot get the bomb planted as Gabe makes the rotation, and they fall just short of forcing overtime. 16-14 for North.
I mean, what a fight that the lads of Ancient delivered, but we had into a little break. We're gonna be right back in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Map number 2 coming up.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours